On today's episode, what is malware and how does it get onto my computer? Hello, and welcome to Tech Talk with Chet. My name's Chet Davis, otherwise known as your technology tutor. Delighted to spend this time with you and learn a little bit more about technology. This week we're going to focus on malware, on viruses, and a brief explanation and understanding of what these are, how they get on your computer, what you should do about it, and how to cure it. Today I want to focus on this topic right here. What is malware and how does it get on my computer? Before we do that, let's establish a base of what the heck malware is. So malware is an abbreviation of sorts for this: malicious software. Malware, malicious software. So we oftentimes install software on purpose on our devices because we use that to make our computers work, right? So it might be word processing software. It could be video editing software. It could be audio software. It could be presentation software. It could be, writing software for those of you who are authors and experts writing your next speech, etc. It can be software we use to communicate. So many different kinds of software. But this malware, someone has, for lack of a better word, a devious plot in their mind. They want to utilize your computer, my computer, our computers for their own benefit, for their own purposes. And the kinds of malware, here's just a quick summary. There's computer viruses, something called worms, Trojan horses, ransomware, which we're going to talk about specifically tomorrow, spyware, adware, scareware. I would even say there's something called bloatware and crapware. And these are topics certainly for another time, and I'd be happy to talk about them in an upcoming episode. It is so important that all of us understand this to at least a degree and then practice some secure or safe measures to make sure we're protected from them. So there's two different kinds of ways that malware can be used against us. Now, the most direct way is that software is installed on your computer and then it goes about its work. Usually we're accidentally or unknowingly installing the software on our computer ourselves when we follow through and click. And that's what I want to focus at today. How is it we get this malware on our computer? This next slide isn't really about malware on purpose, but it's something that a hacker would use. And a hacker would essentially send us something. It usually comes in the form of an email. And that email sends us to a website to enter private information. Now, that email may be something related to a collection agency. It might appear to be the Internal Revenue Service. It might appear to be your telephone provider. It might appear to be your bank. It might appear to be your technology company, whether it's Apple or Microsoft or somebody asking for your password, asking for your login credentials, asking for your social security number, your bank, or the IRS, who we believe this to be. But none of that is true. And in another episode, we're going to talk specifically about how you avoid those, how you identify whether it is a legitimate request or not. And I'll just put this one to bed right now. The IRS will not send you an email requesting any information from you. The Internal Revenue Service, those of you who are United States citizens, and it's related to income tax, the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, only deals with U.S. Postal Service. So they're not going to send you an email requesting your information. So let's review the ways that software usually gets installed on your computer. And what we're talking about here is malicious software, or the malware. When you're connected via the internet, you may do a software download. You might hear from a friend, or you might be surfing the web and say, hey, this looks like cool software. I'm going to go ahead and download it. Well, if it's not from an authorized source, then there's potential danger. You want to take extra caution there because it could be embedded with malware. It could have good software with it, but it could also have a Trojan horse. It could have a virus with it. It could have ransomware. And so you're downloading something you want, and at the same time you're downloading and installing something you don't want, and that's the trick. They use that to get you to download it. The one surefire way around that is double check. I go to a website like CNET if I'm downloading something on a Windows machine. If you're downloading something on an Apple computer, it is beneficial for the most part to download only through the App Store. Now the App Store is curated, so Apple has verified that the software in the App Store is free from malware. Anyway, those just a couple quick tips. So be careful downloading software. If you're downloading files that come in an email, so like an email, somebody sends you an email, or you believe a friend sends you an email and they say, hey, click here and check this out. I thought you might like this. Very suspicious. If you don't have friends who out of the blue send you an email with very little text and it just says, hey, check this out. I thought you'd like this. Click here. Don't click. Give that friend a call or shoot him an email back, a different email. Don't reply to that one because it's probably not from them. And if it is from them, a hacker may have gotten into their email account and is sending that suspicious email to anybody in their address book. So it looks like it's coming from your friend, but it's really not. Your friend didn't send it. It came through your friend's email, but they didn't really send it. So give that friend a call is the best thing, and say, hey, did you just send me an email about some cool thing I should check out? If they say no, then delete that email. Get rid of it. Don't open it. Also, when you get emails from spammers, the last thing you want to do, let me rephrase that. The last thing you need to do is reply to that. Don't reply to that, because then the hackers know they have a live body. See, what they'll do sometimes is they will get tons and tons of email addresses. They'll harvest them in a variety of different ways. Sometimes they'll steal lists from companies' records and accounts when they hack into them. Sometimes they'll pull them off the internet. Sometimes they have a generator that will generate just a bunch of email addresses, and they send them out in hopes that they get somebody who will respond to it. And usually what I'm talking about, the response they want, is somebody that will click or follow through. But even if you are upset and you want to play games with the hackers, if you send an email back and say, hey, take a hike, jump off a cliff, or some other words that's maybe a little bit choice than that, don't do that, because they know they have a live body. And that might get this off your chest and it might feel better, but now you're engaging at a totally different level. They know they have an email address that somebody is alive and well at, and they may choose to use it and spread it around to their friends, their hackers. So don't reply to that. And don't click on an email if you believe it's suspicious. Lastly, and this is, we've seen this go around the last couple years, and that's, slideshows, PowerPoint slideshows. And it goes with the click in an email too, but somebody might say, hey, check out this cool video. I really thought you might enjoy this. And it might be from a friend. It might genuinely, truly be from a friend, but they are not realizing that the photo, the video file, or the PowerPoint or Keynote slideshow, usually a PowerPoint slideshow, actually has malware embedded in it. And when you download that slideshow onto your computer to watch it, and it may have some astonishingly beautiful photographs, maybe even some of mine, it may also insert, execute a file that installs malware on your computer. So be very thoughtful and careful about those. I wouldn't download it from a suspicious website. I would only download it from a reputable source. So those are some steps you want to avoid, some steps you want to take to avoid from getting malware installed on your computer. Now, one other thing. In a previous week's episode, I talked about the importance of using secure Wi-Fi when you're traveling. If you're traveling for business, if you're traveling for pleasure, maybe even in your same town, you're not traveling, but you're going into the coffee shop or the restaurant or the library. If you're using secured Wi-Fi, or if you're using VPN, a virtual private network, you're protected. If you're not, here's a problem, it is possible for other computers who are infected, who were using that same unprotected Wi-Fi network, to also infect your computer. So another reason why it's a good idea to use secure internet, using secure Wi-Fi, or use a virtual private network or VPN service. So those are the different ways to protect infection. Again, let's review them. Only download and install trusted software you know is legitimate from a legitimate source. Secondly, only open emails and action those emails, clicking on them, downloading from people you know and trust. And if it looks suspicious, it probably is, give them a call, because it's quicker than maybe getting a reply via email, or send them a text message. Say, hey, did you just send me something? Did you mean to send me something? Is that okay to click on? And lastly, avoid slideshows, etc., video files that are suspicious or from websites that look, well, that you've never heard about before, right? So those are some quick tips. Now, tomorrow on the program, I want to focus on one particular type of malware, and that is ransomware. We're seeing it more and more. There was a huge occurrence last week internationally, a lot in the UK and several other countries affected by ransomware that spread like a virus, spread like a wildfire. We're going to focus on that particular type of malware tomorrow, talk about what it is and what you should do if your computer becomes infected with ransomware. Chet Davis, your technology tutor, saying thanks for joining me today. Go out there and make it a great day.